Now, today is my Dharma message. The title is Wish for the World in Peace and Harmony. As you watch television and YouTube every day, you see heartbreaking news in that Russian invasion to Ukraine. I don't want to get into political area, but it really hurts me every day to see people fighting each other, and a lot of people got killed. Soldiers, now all the civilians and children. The other day, theater got bombed and art school got bombed, right? What's the purpose? Why we have to fight? Huh? And they say more than 10 million people left their town, Ukrainian people. Maybe 3 million people try to move to Poland or other European countries. And the rest is still wandering around, try to hide themselves and protect themselves underneath the shelter. It really hurts me a lot. So, just a few days ago, that association, Buddhist Churches America, Ministers Association, made a statement, and you can find this one in BCA, Buddhist Churches America website. Let me read that. The statement of BCA Ministers Association, guided by the Buddhist principles of wisdom and compassion, the Ministers Association of Buddhist Churches America opposed the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Buddha taught that greed, hatred, ignorance are poisons, and we see all three fueling this war. Wisdom recognized that all things are interconnected, and the fallout from this war will affect all, not only to the refugees, but so many others as well, from the soldiers on the both sides to the environment and entire world. That's what they say. And then also, Reverend Harada, Bishop of BCA now, he also posted his message in the BCA site, reflecting the invasion of Ukraine. He said, when I look at the history of the world and then civilization, isn't it a recurring theme? Like a broken record. Conquered dynasties, kingdoms, war after war, battle after battle. Where does it end? That's what Bishop told me that. So, in this, my message today, I'd like to talk about a Buddhist view, kind of how Buddhists think about the peace and harmony, reflecting the current world situation. Certainly, we are living in such an unsettled world. You never know what will happen tomorrow. It's not the issue only Eastern Europe. Could be a world issue, right? So, I want to talk about what Sakyamuni taught us to us, right? So first of all, I will go like everybody knows the big rule, kind of big 5 precept as a Buddhist. We call it Gokai. Go is 5, Kai is precept. Among 5 rules, not to take life, not to hurt others. That's the big rules as a Buddhist. That's what Sakyamuni told us. See? So everywhere Sakyamuni went in Dharma, there was a peace. There's no war happened. First of all, he was born in Lumbini, right? Lumbini Garden. And then he got enlightened as a human form. That's a Buddha Gaya. And then also, he started sharing the Dharma in the Sarnato. And then finally, he closed his 80-year life in Kushinagara. Everywhere he traveled, everywhere he shared the Buddha Dharma. Of course, there's a little battles, but people listen to the Shakyamuni. That's nonsense. We don't fight anymore. That's why there is no wars. Everywhere Sakyamuni Buddha went through and shared the Dharma. As a matter of fact, when you go through the largest sutras, largest coveted Vyuhat Sutra, Volume 2, there is a term, Hyoga Muyo, means we don't need soldiers. We don't need weapons. Yes, that's the Buddhist world, right? So those are the big ones. Since we have a students' Dharma school today, I want to say, not to take life, not to hurt others. It's not only human. You have a pets, do you? You might have a cat. You might have a dog. You might have a bird. You might have a beautiful garden. Every living creature has a precious life. We shouldn't take away their life. We shouldn't hurt. Instead, we try to love them. We try to nurture them. That's the Buddhist thinking. Okay? That's the big rule. No hurt anybody. No hurt yourself either. Do not take away other people's life. Right? This concept goes to a Buddhist practice, which is, that we call it Ango. Ango. Ango this is the most important Buddhist precept, key to keep the peace and quiet, peace and harmony. As you can see the picture here, all the Theravada Buddhism, Buddhist, they're wearing the robe, and they live in Sri Lanka, part of the Vietnam, Thailand, right? They are monastically living in the mountain and cave. And then those monks, when the rainy season comes, particularly in India, rainy season comes in April and stay there until May and June. In those times, those monks stay in the cave. They don't walk around because all the time, all the worms are coming out from the soil, and all the new plants are coming out from the ground. So if you walk around a muddy area, you accidentally kill those insects and flowers and plants. So they stay in the cave during 3-month rainy season. This is a cave. They go. That's what they do. And this tradition also carried from India to China and Japan. When I was working in that, studying in the Ryukoku, we also have a custom and the Buddhist habit or custom to go to Ango. Ango. Again, in the summertime, it's steamy. In Japan, as the rainy season starts June, July. Oh, you can't believe it's so humid. I really think I'm so lucky to be living in Southern California. I love this weather. But when you go to Kyoto, particularly Kyoto is surrounded by the mountain, the steamy weather stay there. July, in the middle of July, Ango time, oh, that's so steamy. But 10 days, we have an Ango study session. So I attended 5 times for 5 years, every year. I put a robe like that and then go to some certain hall. There is no air conditioner, so really, really steamy. But all day we study, read sutra, do a chanting, and they're reading Shinran's, Chonin's writing, and 7 masters. So tradition carry over from India, China, and Japan. So it's really an original concept. It's again, no killing any insects, no plants, anything. So those Buddhist monks stay in the cave in the rainy season. Okay? And I want to talk about sort of, yes, this is a famous kind of 3 poisons, right? So I really think, there are many aspects that may cause a war and battles, like a national interest, or difference of political ideology, or social value, whatever the reason is. But I think the deep roots is a individual egoistic mind, egotism, deriving from 3 poisons mind, which is greed. Greed is not only money. More you have, more you want. See? The more you have a fame, more you want to have a fame. If you have a power, you want to have more power, right? That's the way the humans are. And then also, anger, hatred. That's really dangerous. It's kind of like a flaming in your mind. And then last one is ignorance. But I'm not talking about your IQ. It's more like we are not enlightened. We are not enlightened. We are in dark. That's what the ignorance is. So those are, I always remember, GAS, gas, greed, anger, hatred, and S is stupidity, but ignorance or not enlightened. Those 3 minds really dangerous. And when you listen to Dharma Message, or when you hear the chanting, say the night chanting, or a meditation, you can see yourself, I am a little bit angry today. I am not usual, right? Don't you realize your mental situation? That's very important. And in Buddhist or Buddhism, is those 3 minds really cause your deed, action too. Your deed, action, whatever you do, or you might say something, right? Or, most important thing, even you don't act or you don't speak, you think something inside. The 3 minds lead you to your action, which is deed, action, speaking, and mind. And mind stay in your storage. When you hate someone, that kind of hatred stays in your bottom of your storage. It's no good. It's not healthy. So when you see that person again, the memory comes back. Ooh. Huh? That's how it works. It's very important to keep in mind, and then realize, oh, what kind of mental situation I have today. That's why we come to OCBC. That's why we listen to Dharma Message. That's why we chant together. Calm yourself, see yourself, and to check your mental and psychological situation. You go to physical check, do you? Once a year, do you? I do. I go to the doctor's place, doctor's office. He can check my body, he can check my blood, all that medical checkup. But the temple is a place you can check your mental, psychological situation. Very important. This is the value of temple existence. That's why OCBC is here, for you, to everyone. Okay? So this is 3 poisons we should be aware, isn't it? And you know this one. We still have a beautiful crane, 1,000 cranes in that lobby. I love those, so beautiful. Everybody made it cranes. 1,000 crane, 1,000 is sen, and then crane, tsuru, so senba zuru. So it's coming from, you remember the Sadako Hiroshima A-bomb story, right? So this is a tsuru, crane, is a symbol of peace. Symbol of peace and harmony. Gautama Siddhartha left so many valuable words and phrases to us. One of them is hatred doesn't cease by hatred, but only by compassion. This is the eternal rule. Think about it. Hatred doesn't cease by another hatred, but only by compassion. This is the eternal rule. That's what Sakyamuni told us. You know, this phrase really saved Japan. Many years ago, before I was born, there was a World War II. Japan lost. And there was a big conference in treaty peace and talking about how do we do Japan. The Soviet Union and other victory countries said, we're going to divide Japan. Maybe Hokkaido goes to Russia. Okinawa goes to United States. And Honshu body part is maybe that divided by European country. Right. But at that time, there is a wonderful person, is a representative from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a Buddhist country. And his name is Mr. Jawawardi. Jawawardi. And Jawawardi actually made a great speech. And then sharing this Sakyamuni's phrase, you know all the countries, I want to share you. War is done. Hatred doesn't cease by hatred, but only by compassion and love. This is an eternal rule. So, leave Japan alone. Don't divide Japan. Japan will be a wonderful country someday. Don't divide it up. That's what happened. Isn't that powerful? So other country listen to this wonderful Mr. Jawawardi's speech, and they all agree. That's right. Forget it. Forget hatred. Leave Japan alone. Instead, let's assist Japan to make sure Japan will stand up an independent country. Right? That's what happened. Japan was saved by Sakyamuni's great word. And then, in the between, similar to World War time, between 1942-45, as you know, a lot of Japanese American people went to the camp. There's more than 120,000 Japanese American people went to various incarceration. Right? Dr. Duncan's book, wonderful book, share with us. But at that time, JA committee never raised any riots. Right? One time I asked Sachi, when she was alive, she also went to the camp. I asked Sachi, how do you think about camp? Don't you think it's fair? Sachi said, you know what? That's okay. That's the way it was. That's okay. Very simple question. But I didn't feel any hatred from her. He said, that's okay. We have a nice time. How positive she was. And then, how do you think she lost everything? She said, that's okay. We just restarted. I'm sure she is not the only one. All the Japanese Americans feel that way. But they didn't make any riot, anything, because they were Buddhist. They just observe, and then instead they just try to settle their mind and do their best. And they became so successful. Right? Amazing. Isn't that amazing? Because that's a Buddhist concept. No revenge. No revenge. No reason to make a revenge. Talking about the revenge, I want to show you talking about Honen Shonin. That's the Shinran Shonin's teacher. And Shinran Shonin's teachers in Honen. Honen was born in 1133, so 12th century, many years ago. But Honen's father got assassinated by other family. And then when father, almost at the deathbed, father said to Honen was very little, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years old. And father said, Honen, you know Honen, I am going to die. But don't ever make a revenge to the family who killed me. Because if you kill those family will go after you. So there will be a endless revenge story. Forget it. So Honen's mother, after her husband passed away, Honen's mother put the Honen to Mount Hiei to pursue the Buddhist monk. No revenge, no hatred. And then also, how about Shinran Shonin? Shinran Shonin got exiled because he was told by that time as Kyoto an imperial court, saying Namo Amida Butsu one time and then you go to the Pure Land? That's not fair. All the monks in Mount Hiei, day and night, they practice. What are you doing to us? Right? So Tendai monk exiled Shinran to cold Echigo, is Niigata prefecture. And Shinran went there with his wife Eshinni. But He just followed the order. And he was working the field. He has to make rice. He has to make a vegetable. He was a farmer. In the night, he shared the Buddha Dharma. Of course, the end of Kyoyo Shinsho, he had little critical comments. I was exiled unfairly with a political decision. Actually, I'm very upset. That's what he said. But instead, he wished even those opponents for their religious liberation. And he wished those people, opponents, also to be awakened to the true Buddha Dharma. He didn't hate them. He knew that hate people doesn't help me. Instead, I want to share the wonderful, true, and real Buddha path to those people as well. So that means everybody will appreciate Amida Buddha's teaching. And the Shinran Shonin said, well, I know that Wasan said, the Tathagatas of the 10 quarters compassionately regard each sentient being as their own child. Yeah? The Tathagatas is a plural. So there is a 10 directions. This is a Buddhist cosmology. There is many Tathagatas, means Buddhas. All the Buddhas regard each of us, me, you, everybody, is my own child. My own child. I'm sure you have one child, 2 children, 3 children. Don't you love each of them with your full love? Same way. If one of them had a high fever, you pay attention to them, right? That's how Tathagata, Buddha, regards us. Everybody is important. Everybody is my child. So I want to protect them. That's what really, this is really, I think that the Mahayana Buddhism. So, this concept, even the enemy, the Tathagata think, this is my child. Because I would make sure, even the enemy, to pursue the Buddhahood, get enlightened, and realize what you are doing. That's the Tathagata's message. So, another concept, this is the last one. It's called Onshin Byodo. Onshin Byodo. It's sort of, we just read a metta meditation. May my enemies be happy and well. It's very hard to say. But this is Onshin Byodo concept of this. Even my enemy, I wish them to be happy and well. And may no harm and difficulties come to them. And I hope they live in peace and harmony. This is a Onshin Byodo. Onshin Byodo. Yeah. I think this is very Mahayana Buddhism essence. If an enemy cannot be liberated, I cannot be happy. We cannot be happy to have a perfect peace and harmony. Okay? And lastly, Shinran Shonin said at the end of, one of his letter to disciple, he said, if your mind is settled by hearing the Buddha's calling to you, Namo Amida Butsu, I want to make sure you're truly happy and find the meaning of your life. And if you got settled, your mind is settled, and then put your hands together, Namo Amida Butsu, in gratitude. And then you also recommend your deep joy to others, to your friends, to your families, and to your even enemies. We are equally receive the same true and real teaching from Amida Buddha through hearing Namo Amida Butsu. And Shinran Shonin said, may there be peace in the world, and may the Buddha's teaching spread all over the world. Well, today, with my Dharma message, I talked about the Buddhist view of world peace and harmony, reflecting the current ongoing battle situation. And we all wish the seas of wars and fires will come soon. And we all deeply wish the world eternal peace and harmony. Thank you very much for listening to the message. Join me in Gasho, please. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda.